God is the evolutionary impulse of the universe, that is to me a better description than a religious description, because that description removes God from religion and makes God accessible to everybody. From you understand, it frees the concept of God from the confines of religion when you say God is the evolutionary impulse of the universe. So that's where I tried to compromise just so that I could still hold on to the concept of, God.
I will say this
Yeah.
to the men who would think that, right? That, oh, she just wants me to take care of her kids. Well, I'm not looking to take care of a third child. I got two kids already and a fur baby. I don't need another one. And that kind of thinking is very amateur. It's very like, where are you coming from with that?
Yeah.
I don't. You might have been fine until you opened your mouth and said that shit. Now I'm not interested
Good.
in nothing else you got to say. I'm not interested in raising another child. No, and that just is so immature to
So
me.
for me,
Go ahead, darling.
I, I 100% agree. I agree with you guys about the village. One of the things I remember when I had my first child, when I had Janae, I remember very consciously making the decision to create.
Uh
It dropped.
oh. Darlene is frozen. I
Can you
can hear
hear
you
me?
now.
Yeah.
You're good.
Am I good now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. So I I made an effort to create an environment where they can always run to me, where they would feel safe and protected and loved. And even if at any time as they grew up, they were out in the world and they needed a safe place, they would always want to run to me and not
Mm.
away from me. So I did everything I could to create that environment. And even so, when I became a single mom, um, I really intentionally tried to sustain that. I didn't want them to have bitterness. I didn't want them to have anger and so on towards their dad. I made sure that connection was not lost. They mean the connection between the kids and their father. And also for me, listen, being a single parent, I am cool with not being perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I'm cool with not being perfect. I remember one time I realized my daughter had me saved in her phone as super mom.
Aw.
I said to her, child, I said, girl, I'm not out here trying to be perfect. I'm super mom, ma'am. I'm very human. So now she has me saved as mommy
Mm.
dearest. But I mean, I'm okay with letting them see me be
Mm.
human. I'm okay with not trying to be perfect. Like I am not trying to be the perfect
Yeah.
parent. I remember one time when I was studying, my son. I remember when I was doing my one of my last classes. It was so bad, and I realized the next day he was like, let me see, he was maybe like 9 or something. I realized the next day that he didn't even bathe. I don't know how he ate. I don't know anything that happened to him that day. I was like, what did I do to my child? But like, you have to give yourself a break. Don't
Yeah.
try to do all of it. Like you said, the
Mm-hmm.
village, and even when you fall short, like get up the next day and say, okay, yesterday was bad. Let's just
Yeah.
go again and let the kids know your mommy is doing their best,
Yeah.
her best. I told my daughter, she's now 26. I said to her, nobody escapes childhood unscathed.
Mm.
I done my best with you as your mom. If there are any holes left in your childhood that needs to be plugged in, therapy. I support therapy.
I love
She's like, mother. So, I'm like, I can't do it all. I don't get it right all the time. When I'm wrong, I say I'm so sorry. I'm wrong. My son, when he was little, and I would, do something, and I realized afterwards that I was wrong. I would say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. do you forgive me? And he would say, I give you, mom. So, just let them see us be human. I think being a single parent is so tough, like without trying to be perfect. I'm cool with just being, some days I'm like, today I'm a bad mom. Today, mommy, sorry, but today was bad, and I'm okay with that. I think that is my mindset is do your best.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Like and let your children know you're doing your best and they will understand.
Yeah.
You know what I
Most
mean?
days I'm just trying to make sure that mine don't die, Like, don't jump off.
Don't let me laugh, girl.
What do you do? Just
What
most
was that,
days I'm just
Shani?
trying to make sure they don't die. You know what I mean? Just like, did you eat something?
Yes,
What did you
don't
eat?
die.
Ramen again? Oh,
And
Pop Tart? You ate. You know what I mean? Like, you ate something. So I get where you're coming from. Got to
make
be
sure they don't die.
perfect.
Make sure and they don't
Yeah.
kill you.
I just want to
Yeah.
also say this, because even though I'm a single mom, I'm not a single parent. And that's one thing I'm going to give God thanks for, that the kid's father, God chose him for the kids. He chose him for me.
Yeah.
That was, and that is all right. But I try to have, I have 2 boys. So I
Yeah.
try to have this relationship with them that I ask them everything. You have sex?
Hey, before we get too far into the episode, I want to tell you about the Breakaway Calculator. This thing is absolutely amazing. Not only will it tell you how to reverse engineer your numbers so that you can make sure that the math is mathing and that you are meeting your income goals for the year, but it also tells you what you need to have in your offer suite, because you can't sell what you don't have, right? It also gives you a price point for each of those, like an ideal price point. But if you want to change it up, girl, do your thing. It's all you, okay? Not only does it break it down yearly for you, but it also breaks it down monthly and quarterly so that you can make sure that the math is mathing all the way through the year and help you to stay on track. If you want to get a copy of that, go to calculator.breakawayblueprint.com. All right, back to the episode.
You was a condom? My oldest. I'm
You
saying like,
gotta you didn't ask the
I'm
question.
asking, like, Mom, no. All right. Remember,
You're
I'm
gonna
young
graduate,
too.
You're
right?
You know
grossing
what
out
I'm
the boy. You're
saying?
grossing out this
But
guy.
what I love the relationship. What I also know, we're from the islands. Well, I'm Jamaican, and so I see sometimes that Jamaican men are not expressive. So what I do is make sure I inject expressions in my children. So, I love you. I text them, be like, just want to say I appreciate you. You're the best big brother. I love who you are, and
Right.
I'm trying to put that in them so that they can, that feel that love. Because love is not about what you can give your children, because that's what some people think, that love is just giving them. Oh, they know I love them. I buy them this, I give them that. But are you hugging them, or are you just, just texting them randomly, just saying, "Mommy, love you"? Oh, because most right now they're over their daddy house, and I have no problems with that. I just listen. When they were younger, I was like, no, they're not going to their father's house. I will get up early. That's my children. They're not sleeping over. No, bye. Go over to your daddy, because when you're over here, you want to. You want to take me as a slave? Go to your daddy. Go to daddy. So listen, I have no shame in this game at this moment. They're 13 and 19. Bye-bye. Daddy time.
Say daddy, I said, what's up?
But I'd be like, you don't text your mama no more. You don't love me. They'd be like, Mommy, I love you. I said, okay, call me then.
Okay.
You got my number. Give me a call.
But I get a text, Mommy, can I use your card to buy food, to buy dinner, to buy this? And he works. Right. The oldest works. I'm like, so where's your money? What happened? I'm going to take you off my card. ASAWAP.
His money is for him.
That part.
And your money is for him.
But
yes, ma'am.
I love my babies.
All the money is for them? Is this what happens?
I do want to say it's a blessing for you to be able to co-parent.
Not easy.
I mean, it's just like you say, it's not for everybody. Because as much as I wanted to push that co-parenting thing,
women are more
Didn't
mature.
work for you.
And but the best thing I could have did for my daughter was never, ever, ever, ever to badmouth her dad to her in front of her, because I wanted her to build her own perception of who he was, whether he was around or not. You know, if she asked me questions, I'll answer them honestly. But one thing I never did was bash him to her or in front of her. How I felt is how I felt, because what we went through was between us and had nothing to do with her. So I wanted her to build her own perspective of who he was and the relationship that she wanted to have with him. So I must say, you're very lucky to have that co-parenting thing going on.
Mm. And why is it so rare though? Like, why is it, because out of the, wait, Darlene, you co-parent? Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
50% of this panel co-parents.
It has to be on both sides, though. It just can't be one person. The other person has to realize, I have a child that I love. I don't care what I had with that person. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, build that relationship for your children. You don't have to have no long conversation, nothing. You know?
Let me just define what co-parent means for me. So for me, I think because the reason I'm saying this is my co-parent looks better. My co-parenting looks a little different. I'm sorry, not better, different to tease. So the kid's father don't live here in the US. So they're with me 100%. Well, my daughter lives on her own now. My son is with me 100% of the time. Their dad does not ever get in the way of, my decisions. You know what I mean? He really recognizes that I'm the one who's here. I'm the one who's on the ground. I'm the one who probably knows what's best for them. Like, he has never tried to interfere and stuff. He just does what he can do from there, supporting them, supporting me. You know what I mean? He calls them, so it works for me. And it's the best scenario. He's not there, so there's no possibility of him getting there. Like, T, you have a really good thing, but this is the next best thing. You know what I mean? So for me, although he's not physically here, he has his own relationship with them. They talk to him on their own, and I'm good with that. So, but I wanted to say, when I remember a few weeks ago, I remember telling my daughter that when she was born, because she was the firstborn, I thought of how I grew up and what are the things that I wanted to do differently raising her. And that is how I you should try to improve. Like, us, our parents could only do so much. We can do a little more for our kids. But I told her, when she has her kids, she must also do the same. Think about how she was raised and see if there's anything she would like to do differently, if there's anything that she can improve on, to go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? So just that type of open, honest communication with your kids. You know what I mean? I don't have any regrets. Like, she and I have, well, Ture as well, my son as well. We do a lot, like we all do. And when it's time to Tasha, let them go.
She's like, why you had to remind me?
But I honestly, I think because she's still close by, so it's easy for me. She's like 15 minutes away, so I don't think that is quite the same as letting her go.
Yeah, I don't know if I would feel the same way because right now we're literally in two different countries. So as much as I instilled in her, and I trust that she'll do the right thing, it's just that she's growing into her own, and there are some decisions that she's going to think that, okay, this, I've thought it through and it makes sense to me. Run it by mommy, please. It's how I feel sometimes, and I feel like if something pop off, it's gonna take me at least 19 or 20 hours to get to her, and that's just not fast enough, But I have to trust that the way I raised her will pay off. It's just but it's hard though. It's definitely not easy. It's super hard.
I want to ask a
So
question though, because Darlene, you were talking about just trying to like cultivate a space for them to understand that they can come to you and talk to you. And that sounds a lot like what they call now gentle parenting, right? So before it was called gentle parenting, is that what you think that you were doing? Do you know what that is? I had to look up the definition because I hear.
Yeah, I've never heard
So
that
it
term.
says
What is
here,
that?
gentle parenting is an evidence-based approach to raising happy, confident children. This parenting style is composed of four main elements: empathy, respect, understanding, and boundaries, and focuses on fostering the qualities you want in your child by being compassionate and enforcing consistent boundaries. So I see a lot like on social media now where they're like, "Oh, I tried gentle parenting today, but then they said something too slick and I had to run up on them," like stuff like that. So I'm wondering, first of all, people got to put a label
Hmm.
on everything, right? But to me, we were
Ex-
raised in
right, exactly.
like so many labels, right? Can't we just be like, I'm just trying to have respect for my children and I'm trying not to fuck them up the way, oh my goodness. I'm trying not to mess them up too bad.
Only you, girl.
I still love Jesus. Like, I want them to don't judge me too harshly.
I know. All like it does not
Right.
Just
have a
doing your
name.
best.
Like I'm just doing
I'm
my
just
best.
doing my
That's it.
best, Tom.
It's just
Just
the
doing my
spirit.
best.
Yeah. But
You have
listen,
gentle time. You
I
got
used
strict time. You
yes
got
I
I'm gonna beat your butt time. I'm gonna be like, got time. It's just there's no
Mhm.
labeling. Just it's parenting.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
I
don't beat.
wonder if the gentle
Go
parenting
on.
is like, okay, well, I don't beat my children. I wonder if that's
Maybe.
what it involves because,
I don't know. I don't
hmm
beat my children, but I don't know there was a name for it. The reason I don't beat is not because of any philosophy. I just think that when I was growing up, the way we used to
hmm
be beaten was to relieve. And I think most times when parents beat their children, they are angry and they are trying to diffuse the anger. And beating the children is not the best way. That's what I think. I think hitting children are people, they're human beings. And just like you would not expect your friend to come and hit you because they didn't like what you did, I don't want to just hit my children just because they did something that they weren't supposed to do. My approach is to find out why did you do this. Sometimes you before you hit them, you find out why they did what they did. It could have been a misunderstanding. They could have been just a mistake. I have I've not had too many occasions where I was like that and felt I needed to like lash out. Like
hmm
fortunately, all along the way, I have always spoken to my children about what they should and shouldn't do and why. And so sometimes even when a scenario comes up, we might be watching something on TV, and I was like, that is crazy. Like, don't you ever do that? And this is, you know what I mean? So we have these conversations. And you know what I used to do? I used to threaten them. I used to say, listen, if you do so and so, you are going to end up in the hospital and your mother is going to be in jail. Just like that. By the time they got old enough and figured out it was just a threat, they were good. They were well behaved. They're not going to do anything crazy. You know what I mean? But that was my
hmm
method. I just don't like that. I can't hit. I was terrified of getting hit when
hmm
I was little. So I don't hit them. I think for me, it's easier for me. Like, I cannot imagine like getting a belt and, oh my God, hitting my children. I mean, just
Ew.
like it would, uh-huh. I can't. So what I do, like I talk to them. I talk to them. If I hit my child now, I'm sure he'd faint. He think I've gone crazy. But I have no
hmm
problems with him. He is the sweetest, gentlest thing. He's a big guy, but he's so sweet and gentle. But so I mean, to getting back to your point about gentle parenting, like I just think we all are just doing our best, whatever that is. Like I don't, yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why
hmm
it has to have a name, but I'm just doing my best. My best might not, what I'm doing might not work for somebody else, but it works for me.
I
And,
think
and I'm good. Some kids are more difficult and more challenging, and you might have to
I think putting
partner
a
some of
title
them.
on it is just another way for them to polarize the issue of something, right? Because, well, if you're not gentle parenting, then
Yeah.
it must
Yeah.
be hostile parenting.
I
You know
know.
what I mean? Like, I
You're
don't even know
bad.
what the alternative is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying stuff. But to me, it would seem that there's just
I
another
agree. I
way
agree.
to polarize another
Yeah.
issue. And I don't
Yeah.
know. But it is
Yeah.
not easy when you
Yeah.
have to, or when you get
Yeah.
to the point where you hit your kids. And for me, it's never out of like me being angry. The last time that I had
Mm-hmm.
to give pow pow is what we call it. It was, and it's very rare.
Mm-hmm.
It is very rare, but it was because I was
Right. Yeah.
afraid for
Right.
her.
Right.
Because when you see that they're going down a
Yeah.
certain road and you're like, well, I've tried to talk to them, I've tried to sit and reason, I've tried logic, I've tried emotion, and they're still going down this negative path,
Mm-hmm.
last
Last
resort.
resort. Last
Because
resort. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want them to think that how you solve your problems is with
Yeah.
violence. And how can I tell them
Yeah.
to not solve their problem with violence and then turn around and
Yeah.
hit
Yeah.
them to try to solve?
Yeah. But I'm just saying for a lot of parents that is the first
Yeah,
go-to.
there must be that hostile
Yeah.
parenting.
Yeah. But sometimes it is the last resort.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's not that I've never ever done it. That's not what I'm saying. It's just not
It's not your go-to.
I mean,
what
for
I
me,
normally do.
I just want to be very transparent. So we discipline our children the way we know how. Like, there's no other way. We can only discipline them the way we know how to discipline them, which in turn is how we were disciplined. So when my daughter was little, little, but when she was, school age,
Toddler.
not really a toddler, but when she can walk and talk and get in trouble. When she was at that age where, like, that was my first resort. It was like, oh, get over here. You finna get your behind me, because that's all I knew. That's how I knew how to discipline her, because that's how I was disciplined. Now, as time went by, that village, that's where you have to have a village, because it's something that they can pour into you that will work, but if there's no village, it's just you can only do what you know. And what you know is a result of what you've been through, right? When you get other people's perspective on, maybe you should try this, or maybe you should try that, or how about this, how about that? And you begin to try things, because parenting is trial and error. And you figure out what works. Yeah. And to be honest, when my daughter got in middle school, she had this boyfriend that everybody knew about, but I didn't, right? So, and like for months. And so when I finally, I finally found out about it, like I was torn, because I'm like, why you couldn't tell me? And her words were, she was like, I was scared I was going to get in trouble. Right? Like, I was scared, and from that time, I'm like, I don't ever want you to be afraid to tell me anything. Right. So, and then things just started building on that. I'm like, okay, there has to be a different approach to, how I parent, and it just kind of evolved. But I mean, that village is a lifeline.
It's real. It's real. What I used to do, I had a similar thing. I just didn't hit, but I used to shout. I remember when Janae was little, I used to shout at her. I was so frustrated about so many things, and I didn't hit her, but I took it out on her through my shouting. And when she was about 2, she started stuttering, and her dad said to me, "Stop shouting at her. That's why she's stuttering." And so I said to her, "Jen, if mommy shouts at you, let me know, because sometimes I do it and I don't realize. And let me know." Oh, and she did. When I shouted at her, she's like, "You don't have to shout at me." So slowly I stopped, and she stopped stuttering. Yeah. And I realized he was right. It's because I was shouting at her, But
I was a shouter. And listen, my youngest, he was lucky. He didn't get the wrath. The oldest, I only hit when it was schoolwork. It was like a demonic spirit just come over me. I said, was I remember one time I asked him, for instance, he said, the cat, say that the lion ate the cat's calling the rat. I said, the lion ate the cat calling the rat. Who was calling the rat? You're
like, I'm scared to answer.
No.
I'm asking you to give me more patience with my child because I didn't want to hit him. Because listen, when you're upset, when you're in that state of mind, it's like you can hit, and God forbid you hit mother hits child and he's knocked out dead. Something. I don't see that mother. Over schoolwork,
Over
girl. When it comes to schoolwork, ooh, I was like, what? What's two? That thing. What's 19 plus what? 21? What you say? What's 1 plus something? 21? Like, yeah. What?
If Johnny had 5 apples.
God redeemed me, girl, because I was angry when it comes to homework. My kid he didn't got nothing. I was like, boy, go do your homework. I ain't got time for that. Yeah, but the oldest, he was scared.
You know, there's no.
Thank God.
Oh my
goodness. I think parenting, like, there's no handbook. Like, you know what? I just let my kids know, listen, your mother don't know shit. I literally, we become, you have 17-year-olds who are becoming parents. They don't know shit. Like, we as parents, we become parents. There's no handbook. There's no roadmap. We just do the best we can. Like, we trying to act to these kids like we know shit. We don't. We just you know, every day we just get through the day. But you know, as they get older, as like you said, as we mature, our children help us to mature.
Oh yeah.
Our children help us to finish growing up.
Definitely.
Yeah, they help us to become better people. They help us to mature, to grow up. Sometimes, you know, I had a cousin who had a little boy. She was studying at the time, and her baby, she was so frustrated, and he was so, what is the word, like, he was always crying and so on. And she would just, you know, snap at him. And I remember one time I said to her, sometimes this little child is just wants 10 minutes of your time. Just stop what you're doing, go sit on the floor with him, say, what is it that you need, son? Play with him for 15 minutes and go back. But it is so hard. Like, we sometimes are required to know everything. We are expected to know what to do, when to do it. We have to balance raising children. We have to work. We are studying. It is not easy, and so we have to give ourselves a break. And as we know better, we do better.
Yeah.
That is why the second child is usually less traumatized than the first one.
Well, mine was like back to back, so I don't know how well that worked out. I didn't have enough time to like work out the kinks.
Mine is like 6 years apart, so yeah.
Oh no, I didn't. Mine are 15 months apart. 14 or 15, one of those. 15
Oh, yeah.
And I have no time to work out the kinks.
Oh, I was good. Mine are 10 years apart. I worked out some kinks.
Mine are years apart.
You're the one?
That's all.
All the years apart. Oh my gosh. So
I think it's important for us that for our children to know that we don't know everything. Because when I tell you, my daughter has taught me a lot, and just by me sitting up there listening, like, I've learned so much from her. I'm like, you right, you know. So I think it's real important for our kids to know that we don't know everything. I don't know everything.
Yeah,
I don't have all the answers. You know,
but I think they know that. I think they know. I think they know a little bit because, like, I was having a conversation with Isis the other day, And I was like, well, it's gone are the days where I can kiss your boo boo and it would feel better. She's like, oh, mommy, that never worked. Wait, what? I thought my kisses had power. What you telling me now? What you telling me now? She was like, yeah, mommy, that never worked. I was like, low key happy that she protected my feelings at the time, but still a little upset. You snapping all over them right now. But I think that they know to a certain degree, like, I think mommy needs a little something right now. So let me just, yes, mommy, it feels better. It's just still hurt. But But I think we put pressure on ourselves to feel like we need to know everything. I don't think the kids ever put that pressure. Like, they ask questions, but no one ever said that telling them, you know what, mommy doesn't know the answer to that, but let's find out. Nobody said that would be wrong. But we put all this pressure on ourselves to, like, I got to be a good mom. And what does that mean? Like, how do we define that for ourselves?
What does that mean?
And that's part of, like, what I want women to understand, like, with just listening to the podcast and everything that, we go through and all of our experiences, is that it's your experience. No one has to define this for you. You get to define this for yourself. What does motherhood look like for you? Because your kids are different. Like, my kids are different than Takora's kids. Darlene's kids are different than Tashi's kids. So you get to define it for yourself. You are raising little people that are going to eventually become big people who are going to go off into society and make a difference. And so what works for your little people and what works for you, and finding that balance. We don't need to put this much pressure on ourselves to be like somebody else's version of perfect. Mm-mm.
The other day I said to Terry, school, listen, the correspondences that we get from school, it is like head turning. You get there's so many decisions that you have to make about your children. I was just like done. I said, Terry, please to hurry up and grow up so that you can make your own decisions. I don't want to be making every decision like, huh?
Be careful what you ask for.
I know, right? I know. And I know because I remember when he was a baby, I remember being so tired. I'm like, oh my God, can you hurry up and just be 5? And can I tell you, sometimes I'm still saying now, oh, I just wish you could go back and be 5. So I know.
Yeah.
But some days you just like cannot handle all of it. And I'm like, I let him know. I'm like, sir, listen, I can't handle like all these decisions. You need to be making some of these.
Yeah.
You just do your best every day. But I want to go back to the
going back
to
Where them there?
Go ahead, girl.
Well, what's the question? I ain't got one.
I have to tell you, actually today I thought about us, the 4 of us, and the fact that we were all single parents. And I'm like, that is such a shame.
We so fine. Like, why? And obviously intelligent.
But I was like, honestly, I am so tired of men. I am. And I am at the stage in my life where it's not that I don't want a relationship, but I am not compromising anything. It is their turn to compromise. Do you know that from the time a girl starts her period, like it's like punishment. A girl's body, just by being a woman, your body puts you through enough. From the time a girl starts her period, for the rest of her life until menopause.
Until
half of her life,
episode. You stop one and you start the other one, girl.
Right. Half of your life is pain and discomfort, and in between that, if you get pregnant, like a whole other shit show going on there. And don't even tell me. Let me get started on menopause. Listen, no,
I'm not reached it.
So no,
not reached there yet.
I'm like,
say no.
I'm like, no, I will not. I will not be compromising. I don't like. It's not that I don't want a relationship, but men. Like it's their turn to compromise. I'm sorry. Like my body has put me through enough. I have to suffer enough just because I'm a woman. I'm not dealing with men and their foolishness.
But Darlene, I'm glad you brought that up because we were talking the other day. What was the question? You're laughing because you know what I'm going to say.
Go for it.
Shani was talking the other day, and she was like, "Tashi, do you want a husband?" And I had to think about it. I was like,
she studied. She was like,
Did you
I don't know.
She asked you, what
like,
do you want a husband?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like,
Okay.
I mean, I like my life. Like, I'm comfortable. I don't know if I want somebody to come in and disrupt that, right? Like, I'm comfortable with my life. I come and go as I please. I can do what and I'm not saying that, married people have to like ask for permission. I don't know that. I've never been married, but I don't want to have to be like, so I'm thinking about going to Greece. What do you think about that? All I do is think about it. I research it. I book my tickets and I go, right? Like,
there you go.
And, I'm like, that part. However, I do want some thighs in my bed, but so it's like kind of like I know. And I'm like, okay, so this part of my life I love and I'm comfortable with. However, I can use some thighs in my bed, but so the answer is I don't know. I don't know if I want a husband. It's like I'm not.
I have an opinion about husband and marriage and so on. First of all, I don't think it's you have to pick one. I think you can have both. I think you can have someone, but that does not mean that you have to ask permission for anything. I think that is the biggest misconception about what a relationship should look, a mature relationship should look like. People think, because that is how we have been raised and conditioned, that is how it is in our culture, that there is some ownership situation going on. If I am your wife, you're my husband, or your person, even if you're not married, I'm your person. That everything that I do, I have to get your buy-in. This lady, just about a week ago, a lady at work told me she wanted to cut off her hair, but her husband said no. She said, and I have to listen to my head. In my head, I'm like, lady, you do not want to start that argument with me today. You want to cut your hair, and he said no, and you did not cut it. I'm like, are you crazy? So there is this ownership thing that happens when people are in relationships. A mature relationship to me looks like two people who are there to support each other on their individual journeys through life. I love you. I love you if your hair is short. I love you if it's red. I like it if it's braided. It's you that I love. And I'm supporting you. You want to go to Greece? I can't come, but go to Greece. Send me pictures.
Yes.
I'll be here when you get back. Like, why can't it be both? But it's finding that person who is mature enough to understand that they don't own you. No one can own anyone. You have to understand that this person is her own woman. I am my own man. I have my life. She has her life, but we are going to support each other. I'm supporting you in your dreams. You are supporting me in my dreams. What we can do together, we do together. You know what I mean? What we can't do together, I'm supporting you.
I got questions.
Why can't that?
I got questions.
No, I was just about the mic drop on that because I'm like,
but why
all
your man
that.
can't go to Greece with you? If you're equally yoked, why the hell your man can't go to Greece with you? Why are we fucking with people who can't go to Greece with us? Like, if you can afford to go to Greece, he needs to afford to go to Greece. And let me tell you about the lady who cut her hair, because I got to comment on that too. Girl, you're giving him way too much power. That's too many options. See, there are certain people need to understand. She don't have a say in that particular thing. There was no reason for her to ask him. It's better to ask for pardon than permission. I'd have cut it all off and be like, babe,
it's also the respect. You mean he said she didn't have to ask him, but that's also the respect of union,
No, but I get what you're saying. But it's
Darling can see because she experienced what marriage is, but not marriage not for everyone. I'm not married, but I do want to get married. But I can't say because it didn't work for Darlene and because she think it that way, it's going to be that working for me the same.
No. I don't think.
Oh, wait. I honestly,
no, I'm trying to say,
I have to say
about,
something.
Asking, for instance, I understand when she stated that, ownership, because that's why sometimes I'm like, it's good being single because I can just get up, do this, do that, because when you're married now, it's mostly one. It's not like you're asking for permission, but it seems like it's permission to say, baby, I need to go. I'm going to go to Greece, like.
But if he decided to grow his beard, would she need to ask him? I'm just saying there are certain things that I don't understand why we're having to ask or consult. All right, so not ask permission, but consult. So if it's on my person, it's on my body, it is my hair, that's not necessarily something that I would ask. I would, I'm
so if your daughter get up and cut her hair right now,
yours.
What are you going to say to her? Your daughter.
Well, see, but she belongs to me. That's different. She came from me.
I mean, I come from the same concept. It's a belong to each other. That's just my thing.
No. Okay, wait. I don't agree. Your daughter.
That's apples and oranges.
Your daughter.
Yes.
Wait. Your daughter is a minor. She's a minor. She has to ask you permission. She is not. Nobody is going to go cut her hair without your permission. She probably can cut it off at home.
And I'd be like, who was going to fix that? Because it looking.
But in my I just have to say, when I was married, my ex-husband, I didn't have that issue. I did not have that issue. He never. I never went to him and said, I'm going to cut my hair. Never. That was not an issue. He is that person that I'm talking about, where it's, whether I braid my hair, if I want to go to Greece, whatever, I'm not asking. I've never in my life asked him permission for anything. That sounds so foreign to me.
So, Darlene, was the conversation that you guys had prior to, or that was just like the relationship? You know what I'm saying? Like, was that a conversation that you guys had? Like, look, this is how I'm not gonna come to you with anything, or like, was that a conversation, or was it?
No, I think that's just the way we both were. It never like that seemed so strange to me. That was not a thing. I've never been that way, and he never. He was never that way, so it's not something that ever became an issue that I was even aware of. So it's just so odd to me. You know what I mean? I asked my son one time. I said, can you see me obeying somebody, some man because I'm married to him? Like, if he says I don't, he's like, no. But I think the Greece thing, Shani, it's a schedule thing, right? Right, Tasha? It's not because he doesn't have the money. It's the schedule, right?
Yes. The scheduling conflict.
Because he got the money. Scheduling conflict.
Yeah, it should not be about the money. Because I'm going to be like, Tashi, what we doing?
It's a schedule.
Okay. All right, get me together as long as it ain't a money issue. It's a scheduling conflict. I got to work. I can't go. Okay.
Scheduling conflict.
But I do think you should consult with your significant other on like life-changing things that are going to be, big impact. So if you're traveling, I'm going to be gone for a week. Well, if you all have children, who's going to watch the kids while you're gone, right? That's something that's life impacting.
Right.
I just was thrown off with the whole hair thing because that just seems so personal.
There's a lot of people in relationships
on
like
life
that,
impacting.
It's a lot, and I think it's who you marry. And I think we know who we're marrying into. When it happens, the person, if he's a jealous person, or will he be the one asking you exactly where you're going, what you need to do, what you need to wear? Because even some women in a marriage that they need to ask their spouse what to wear.
Oh,
I'm like,
Are those also the same women who have to make sure the dinner's on the table every night at the same time, even though they go to work too? Them the same kind of marriages? Oh, I don't want one.
Don't want it, right?
I don't want one of
Speaking of
those. Girl, what's
food
up?
on the table, Shani. So listen,
Okay.
I made a decision. Like as a single parent, I have to get up,
Mhm.
go to work every day, take my children to school. That's when both of them went to school. Come back home, pick them up, bring them home. I have to pay the bills. I do the laundry. I do the ironing. I clean. Everywhere they have to go, I take them. I am removing something
Cooking.
from my plate. That is
I like it. I
cooking.
respect that. I don't do laundry anymore, so
Mhm.
I
So who
respect
do
it.
laundry for you, baby girl?
There you go.
Girl, such share does
Mhm.
laundry for me. I call them people come get the
Okay.
laundry, and
Oh, that's how big ballers roll. Yeah.
they about to come get these dishes too. What company come to do dishes? Because mm-mm. But yeah, I don't do laundry anymore. That was one of the things. Like if I don't have a lot, and I can throw a load in there, I'm not gonna call them for one load
Yeah.
of laundry. But no, that's definitely one thing that I've taken off my plate. I don't
Yeah.
go grocery shopping. I go
Yeah.
online and I pick my stuff, and
Yeah.
that's how I want
Okay,
that. I
now.
want that, and then I just go and I drive up, and the
Okay, now.
trunk pops open. They put the stuff in. I close the trunk and I go about my business. Because if I go in
Yeah.
Walmart, it's over. I'm gonna buy a whole bunch of stuff that I don't need.
True.
So yeah, plus it's exhausting because
Yeah.
you go to okay. This don't sound like
Me
real
too.
lazy, but whatever. It's my testimony. I I'm
Stacey.
speaking my truth. If I go to Walmart, I feel like I'm dragging ass walking around the whole Walmart, like finding all the things. And because I haven't been in there in so long, I don't know where anything is. So I have to literally go
Yep.
to like every aisle. And then I'm like, oh, I walk to that side of the store, and then I got to walk back to this side of the store. And then I got to get home and unpack the groceries too. Mm-mm.
Oh, girl. Okay, so yeah, unpacking.
And then I got to cook. This is why on grocery day, people put the groceries in the fridge and they go buy something to eat. Right? Because they're tired from grocery
But you still have to
shopping.
cook,
Like,
right, girl? Because listen, Shani Fay right here is the best. Oh,
She can throw
need
it
someone
on.
that can bake. Ooh, your wedding cake. Oh,
I do cook.
Not only that, let's talk about these wings she made for girls'
bring me
night.
back.
I
Bring me
Oh,
back.
I made
baby.
wings today. I made
Ooh.
wings today. I made jerk wings today. They good. I'm thinking about it too. Like as we're talking, I'm like, I'm gonna go eat me some wings. When we get,
She's good.
I did make wings today. That's funny.
Yes,
She
that's what I love
is.
about her.
She's good at a lot of
I
things,
take off my wig
Shani.
to you, girl. Okay, you know, it's
Yeah.
on the table over there. It's over there.
Takora, you
I'm gonna do
can't
it. Take off
say
my
I take
bald
off my
scalp.
wig anymore, man.
I'm gonna say, so girl, let's talk about my hair right now.
Your wig's been gone. Your
It
wig's
is too
been gone.
cute.
Let's talk about them curls
Yeah.
popping, baby. I see them, honey.
I'm
Hot
gonna be honest
girl.
with you girls. I always said I could never go bald or short style because it wouldn't fit me. Because I know that I don't have no knees, no black knees, no in the ease. I'm just straight negro. Listen, so God allows me to go into CVS and find, listen, it's called Curls Crazy Curls, Curls Crazy, something like that, whatever it is. And I put that in my hair with some water. And God said, let there be curls. Curls.
Oh, you didn't. What? Give me the name, man.
She's
Because
been
you
living
know
good.
yourself.
Give me the link.
Popping.
Yeah. It is cute.
Look
It
at
is
it.
cute. And I love
the makeup.
What's the name of the product, T?
Oh, girl.
What's the name of the product, T?
and the skin is glowing.
But
Yes, it is, honey.
Curl crazy. I'm gonna send it to y'all. Put in the link for those who need it. Because
Yes.
they're sponsored
I
because
need it.
now
I
they're
need
gonna
it.
sponsor me
Yes, I
to
do.
show all that curl.
Yeah.
This is not any knees. They're
Do
not
you know?
Chinese up
I
in here.
remember.
No up in here.
Oh
Negro.
my God.
Takora, I remember I remember telling you
Listen,
hiding
all right, I was
your.
marked. So
You
my
remember that?
family marked
I
me.
used to tell you
I have
like
noble. We have a big forehead. So I was always laughed at but my forehead. No, that's not nothing, right, girl? So every hairstyle
yeah,
I
yeah.
had like bangs, bangs.
Sorry.
If the wind
Yep.
blew up, I'd be like,
Yeah.
there could be no
Yeah.
wind. I'd be like, walking down, hey girl, what's up? I was hiding what God created until He said, "Pah! I release you in the name of Jesus."
And you know, I would never look at you and be like, "Oh my God, she has such a big forehead." I would never like look at you.
I know,
That would not.
never.
Yeah.
Not even when you were wearing wigs. I think it was just
Yes.
this insecurity because you were picked on.
It
became
Got a bang
security.
wig,
But
girl
yeah.
wig, girl wig. It's like little bang it.
Yeah.
Acting like my one eye.
Yeah.
Like a.
I was always. Whoops.
Yeah.
I need a swoop.
Whoops.
I need a swoop thing.
Yeah.
Girl,
And
I
it's
told you I
so
turned the
free,
wig. I was
right?
like, oh, this don't look good on me no more.
Yeah.
New baby.
Yes.
That is.
Oh, you girl.
Mhm.
And I forgot to put my diamonds in, girls. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
On the bling.
How do you get them diamonds to stay?
I'm not gonna tell my secret yet, girl.
First of all,
I have to what, patent it or trademark it or something it before I tell y'all my business. You gotta help me out to trademark that, girl.
always the entrepreneur. Always the entrepreneur. I love it.
Back to
Like, wait, I gotta get
schedule.
I miss that.
It's what we do 24/7 when they were here. I love y'all. I miss y'all too.
I know.
I love you, ladies.